Hello everyone, Professor Kagan here, and today something a little bit different. So you've seen train content on my channel before. That's not explicitly new, but this is new. As of today, I have came into possession of something that's somewhat uncommon. These old Lionel G-scale Thomas the Tank Engine locomotives, rolling stock. I've got some troublesome trucks behind me. I was going through an old estate sale auction and I had found these for sale. And since my birthday had recently passed, I couldn't help but treat myself a little bit to something that's, again, not that common and pretty cool looking. I do love the look of James, especially. He's probably my favorite out of the two. Just how proportioned he is. I've been a fan of this show since I was a little kid. Well, I don't know if I'd call myself a fan of it now. I don't really participate in those circles. But I do love model trains, and I've never had G-scale stuff before. I've got some HO scale stuff. I used to have a little bit of N scale stuff, but that got lost in a move. And now I have some G scale stuff. I've got the whole track over here, buildings. There's the troublesome truck in there, and there's another one as well. I'm gonna get this all out and show it to you, and then when you next see it after that, I'm going to be doing some restoration work. They need to be cleaned up. As you can see, there's quite a bit of grime. These have been sitting in a basement for decades, at least 20 years. And Thomas is missing a cab roof. It might be in that box back there that I showed you. We'll just have to see, and if not, well, I will print him a replacement, and I'll make that available to anybody who needs replacement roofs. I might just go ahead and model them anyway, because I know a lot of people that I've seen online that have these, particularly with James, they seem to always be missing the cab roofs, and they are removable, so watch me say that and I'll be able to get this off one-handed, but you get what I mean. I might just go ahead and make replacements anyway for anybody who needs them. Alright, so here's everything out and on the table. That troublesome truck is still in a box, so that's pretty cool. And we've got one of them sitting here, a couple up to James. So something I'm noticing is that some of the couplers are missing or are damaged. So I'm going to try to model those up as well. And I've got some springs that I can use to hopefully recreate the decoupler action. This here is one of the decouplers that came with it, and you can, put it in the track and uncouple it. I also found Thomas's cab roof, so while I'll still probably model up a replica just in case, I have the one he came with. So like I said, these are all very dirty, and the inside does not fare much better. They also look to be a little bit warped. I'm not sure how I'm going to correct that, if I even can. If anyone has any ideas on how to do that properly without damaging the coaches, please let me know in the comments. Once I get them all cleaned up, I'm going to test the mechanism. It came with the transformer, so I'll try to use that. If that one doesn't work, I'll use one of the transformers I have. I've also decided to put my little replica E2 that is in the body style of Thomas up next to him. They both run on G-gauge track, but this one is more proportioned like the Gauge 1 models from the show, and he's in an LBSC chocolate brown livery. So next, I'm going to get these cleaned up, and we'll look into running them. Okay, so I've went ahead and I've cleaned quite a few of the pieces here. Everything in here is clean. I got the faces, like for James, for example, in the troublesome trucks. Sadly, the faces aren't in perfect shape. Some are in better shape than others. Got the windmill bits cleaned up. Whoop. The water tower and the windmill. The top of Wellsworth Station. I also cleaned Wellsworth Station. It's over there. We got the interiors cleaned up as best I can. Still need a little bit of work. I need to get a small brush so I can really dig into the grooves and corners. But Clarabelle and Danny are both very clean. The roofs honestly feel immaculate. Which brings me to the matter of the track, James and Thomas. So I'm gonna have to take these apart, and hopefully I don't mess them up. I've taken apart locomotives before, but not G-gauge ones, and not ones built like this, so I'm hoping that I'm just gonna have to be really careful. And there's a few couplers that I need to 3D model, 3D print, and replace. And I also want to make sure that these two are running and working. So when we come back, hopefully these two are serviced and ready to roll. And we'll do a roll test. I also got to clean these. I'm going to look up how to properly clean G-gauge track as well. Just going to scrub down the ties, and hopefully everything will be good. Alright, well, I will see you right there. Okay, so a few days have gone by, and at this point, we've got Thomas and James cleaned up. They're looking rather good. Still gotta do James's tender. Scrub the inside and the out. The mechanisms on both were actually rather impeccable for sitting in a basement for 20 years. They were good and clean. The gears on both engines still had plenty of lube. James's gear lube was a different color than Thomas's. I have to wonder if someone's serviced him before. I tested both. James runs flawlessly, not a single problem with him. Thomas seems to be having an issue where, let's see if I can show this to you. Do you see these small brass brushes that connect to the side of his wheels? When I apply power to the wheels, they're not making contact with the brushes. If I take two wires and place them on the brushes themselves, he runs. So I gotta figure out why they're not making contact. They probably just need to be cleaned. So I'll do that first. And then see what else he does. In the meantime, I've also sat down last night on the floor with alcohol, a shop rag, and scrubbing away at this old Lionel track. I do have one piece of RGB track that Thomas is sitting on right now. Not RGB, LGB. I'm getting confused with this thing. And we'll have an update on him on this bucko later on. But for now, this is what all I've managed to accomplish. Okay, so here we've got the second prototype. The first one didn't quite fit the loop in the hook and loop coupler style, so I had to go back and make some adjustments in Fusion. But here is the second version of the hook for the hook and loop coupler. Let me see if I can get the focus here. It's basically held in with a 3M bolt and nut. It's meant to be in style very similar to the original Lionel hook. I've also got a washer here that just kind of holds it in place. You got this little bit here that didn't come out quite right. It may be the filament I'm using. No spring. I need to get some little springs to properly, if I can get it to focus here. Come on. Focus, please. There should be a little spring that goes into this hole. I need to readjust the positioning of the coupler, and I'm gonna pan over here and let you look at the actual Lionel coupler proper. There we go. So yeah, you've got that little spring there. That's for the auto decoupler that you can place on the tracks. but it does look very similar. I'm liking the little nub. I'm not actually sure what this nub on top is for, but it doesn't really seem to do much. Point is, it does connect to other rolling stock. I actually connected it to Thomas a few minutes ago, and the prototype works fine. So I'm gonna make like some further adjustments and clean it up, and when this video goes up, I'm gonna hand it out to you all on my Thingiverse. Alright, so thank you for watching, and in the next video or two, I'm hoping to get Thomas up and running. Just pretty sure I need to clean his wheels, really, now that I've had a look at the contacts. So coming up now, we're going to have a little running session with James. I've actually already filmed that part. That was a lot of fun, putting together the sound effects and things. I hope that it came out decently for you folks. Thank you for watching. I know this was a little bit different. I won't guarantee that train content will continue to be a constant thing. You know me, I tend to just put out whatever I like, so here we go, off to James's adventure.